Jacob is a friend of mine, and I have said news to you, buddy. Congratulations. Jacob has been playing around in Unreal Engine, in VFX and animation for a long time. He's really dipped his toe just recently into generative pieces too, while still keeping a healthy component in that Unreal Engine ecosphere. And we're here with him tonight because he showed me one of his latest clips that, yes, he's done in Unreal Engine, but not only is the cinematography and the fight choreography just over the top, the sound design from a one-person army is literally off the charts here. So before we get into hardcore, Jacob, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, yeah. So hardcore is, it's like a 4 to 5 minute action film that I made in Unreal Engine. It just sort of started with some experimentation. I was just playing around with some assets and just doing some lighting tests, and I just rigged up a character, hiding behind a sea can. There's a bunch of enemy fire. And I just thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if, maybe there was an attacker kind of like coming up for one side and another side. And then, one thing led to the other. And I just ended up kind of like just creating a whole bunch of shots and put them together. And yeah, it was kind of a stream of consciousness. Yeah, it wasn't, I didn't really, intend to make a whole thing, but it just kind of happened. So this is it.
Hey, there we go. We'll see the fruits of your play here. Here we go.
All right.
This is getting good.
Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
All right, give it a hand to Jakub's Creations. All right, sir. Oh, yeah.
Liked.
There you are.
We'll see on a screen like that. It was nice.
Right? It's amazing to just appreciate, all the blood and sweat, literally in your piece.
There's a lot of sweat. There's a lot of blood.
On the big screen, right? This film feels like playing a AAA video game. Was that intentional? Like, walk us through kind of the beat of it, the inspiration of it, and particularly the sound design in it.
Right, yeah. No, it definitely was not intentional to make it feel, as you say, as a AAA game. No, definitely not. Like I said, it was just kind of a stream of consciousness. I had a lot of, I've always loved action films, and I think I just had a lot of pent up energy that I wanted to, action energy
just
that I wanted to get out, just a little bit. So Unreal Engine for me was pretty remarkable. I mean, I taught myself the software a couple years ago, and no, it's quite great what you could do. I mean. I could kind of take what I'm seeing in my mind and extrapolate it pretty, not quite one-to-one, but pretty damn close, and all with zero cost. So yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of influences for sure. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of training data, from stuff I grew up with, for sure.
For sure. Tell us about how you approach the sound in particular. There is so much happening here, and yet it all punches through. And when we were chatting about this piece, you mentioned how obsessive you were on the sound design, the clarity, getting that punch forward. Walk us through that process, because it's both really aggressive and clear cut all at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I think sound has always been, I've always really appreciated very dense sound mixes, but not dense in the way that they were very incredibly busy and unclear, but just that there's a lot of detail. So it's very dense, but it's also very stripped down, if that makes sense. So the mix itself is very, very dense. I think at one point I had 100 tracks of audio before I started baking them into stems.
I believe that.
But the thing is that with every shot, when I was doing the mix down, I was really conscientious of what takes center stage. And even in a given shot, there's a shot where the camera's pushing past the character. There's explosions happening in the background. The guy's reloading his magazine. The camera pushes past. I mean, you barely hear the explosions. You just hear these sort of high ends, that really push the high ends, really bump the treble on those things, of all the Foley on the clothing, the gun handling, the zippers on the, all that kind of stuff, and not let that be lost in the mix. And then, it goes past him and you hear a little exhale. So it's just kind of having really, really clear acoustic beats, as you go, even though there's so much happening, but not getting greedy, because then it's just a big muffle of nothing, right? So yeah.
Yeah. How do you source your sounds? Is it more sort of sites that you pull from online? Do you have a giant army hard drive now at this point? It's
a giant army hard drive.
Okay.
Yeah. It's something else, stuff I've been accumulating for a really long time, and there's and I just do a lot of, stacking. So a lot of layering. So it's not like the gun sounds, for instance, it's not just like one or two, but there's like maybe 7 or 8 different pieces of gunfire kind of manipulated at different tempos. Just kind of like gives it a little bit more punch. And it's funny because once I start working on the high-end stuff, like the explosions and and that kind of stuff, and then, working on the, the footsteps and the Foley, and it's like, okay, well, I got to crank that up because then everything is lost. So like one kind of drives the other as you go. So, and until you kind of have like a nice, so nothing necessarily is neglected in the mix. Like you have, everything has its own power, and especially like the Foley and like the clicks and the gun handling. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff a lot. Just the crystal clarity of that.
You're a detail guy. That's amazing. Yeah. So your final fight piece that we saw just after, that was generative, and
that was.
It's a bit of an older engine now, but you hit a cultural touch point because this went properly viral. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, that was interesting. So that was like circa. Must have been, I think I was experimenting in like February of 2024. So it was when like models were first, I guess they were really starting to become popular. And so I was curious just to play around. And I had this idea in my mind. I had always wanted to see since I was a kid, this game I grew up with. And I was always curious, well, if that IP was theoretically picked up like way back in the day by like a really like low level sleazy distributor production company like a Canon Films or something, and it was it was released to the public, what would a theoretical like 30-second TV ad look like? And so I was just kind of like, okay, well, this is kind of a cool idea to maybe experiment with the tools. And I was using Leonardo at the time. I think it was Leonardo, yeah. Yep. And Leonardo was interesting. I was looking around to see what was available and what was decent. And they were pretty good at the time. They, if I recall, they had a control net at the time, which was pretty cool. So you could like have like 7 to 8 different, I guess, nodes of influence, and you could control the weights. So I was able to really kind of dial that stuff in, and
And those were extremely early days to have that kind of control, especially on an online platform.
Absolutely, super early. And I think it was nerfed at like 4 seconds of output, and it was super slow. So I just like double the speed of everything to even get something, semi like. Yeah. But it's all, if you see it, it's all super slow. So, but it worked okay for a TV spot concept. So.
Well, it worked so well, it got over 1 million views, right?
Yeah, it was funny. And that, like, again, I thought like, oh yeah, maybe like there'll be like, a couple people that may remember the game or have some nostalgia. And apparently, it caught on. So that was cool, but it was not it was definitely not the driving force. I always wanted to see it. So, and apparently a lot of other people did too. So
no doubt. It's a fertile playground. So now you've covered a lot in Unreal Engine. You've dabbled a bit in generative stuff. If you were to redo the action piece we saw in generative, how would you tackle that? Would you still hold on to like using Unreal to like block things out?
I think like for me personally, if I was doing it, I would still do it in the game engine, like 100%. But what I would do differently is I would definitely use like a service like QuickMagic or like Meshcapade. I don't know So it allows you to do suitless motion capture. And while it's not perfect, and not even close, let's say, to like if you had like a $20,000 accent suit, it's still kind of cool. So you could, I've done experiments. In fact, the project I'm working on right now, I'm incorporating just that. So I'm able to take a lot of like single source footage and have the AI analyze it and then change that into mocap data that I could pipe into Unreal, into the skeletons. And it's actually like quite remarkable what's possible now. It's like really, really cool from like a single source. Absolutely. I think I think I would still stick in the game engine. I just love tinkering with lights and like in real time until we could do that, Well,
I think we're getting dangerously close to that.
There we go.
Some of these releases. That's super cool. If you were to impart any kind of advice to folks that are looking to get something with a super heavy action sequence and where to really dial in, like how to get that big sound that you've achieved, what would that be?
I think I would just say, I mean, at least what I do is I don't neglect anything. Like for me, like forget something like bombastic like this. Like if you had a scene of someone walking to a kitchen, like opening the refrigerator and like pouring a glass of water, there's so much interesting acoustic information in that, right? And that could be as interesting as all this gunfire and explosion stuff. So I would just say like don't neglect any of it, and make it all, treat it all the same, I guess.
Super cool.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for Jacob? Kush.
I don't know. So.
Mic check. Perfect. It's working. Awesome film. Wow. Incredible. I'm from like the background on Unreal and old school sort of VFX stuff. So seeing that in a game engine, that camera work and the mocap is incredible. Like especially as one person. So I'm curious about the actual work involved in that. Like, did you mocap all the cameras? Did you mocap all the characters that were there? How much was it like assets downloaded?
Yeah.
I'm sure the characters themselves were.
Yeah.
But
So the mocap. So like as I was saying before, like if I was doing it now, I would just do all the mocap stuff myself, like or get some people and run that through Meshcapade or QuickMagic. The mocap data in this, it was a mixture. So I plucked a whole bunch of like generic animations of like idle poses from games and like people running. And in Unreal Engine in the sequencer, what you could do is you could mix and retime and like blend. So you could essentially almost like mold the animations with other pieces. And then over top of that, I did a lot of additive hand animation for specific things, or if I wanted the characters to handle the weapons a certain way. So yeah, there's that. And then in terms of the camera, it's funny. I was at one point. I remember being so stoked because one of the cool things you could do in Unreal Engine is you could use your phone as a virtual camera for the environment. So I mean, yeah, you could just you could walk around your scene theoretically and just get coverage that way, and then all the XYZ values get piped into the data in the sequencer, and then you just have like a. But the thing I found is. Because I was so clear what I wanted anyways, I could get those results way quicker just keyframe animating. It was all just keyframe animated cameras. And because I shot so much before, I could just put in all those little quirks and imperfections, when you're like the character to the camera, like, if you're shooting, it's especially if there's like really kinetic stuff and you're on the ground, it will never be quite perfect, but it's that interesting blend of having things, kind of adding those imperfections, but at the same time, having it perfect, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm not probably explaining that right, but just it's a lot of human quirks to make it feel more grounded, I guess. Yeah.
Well, one of the features that's coming up in CDance 2, you can have up to 12 inputs on it across video, across audio, across still images. And one of the features that it's being really touted as right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, people have used this, but you're able to use the cinematography, like the camera work of an input video.
Oh, cool.
And have that drive, the model output, which is already proving itself to be like a pretty spectacular for some of the action sequences that we're starting to see leak into that. Yeah.
All the power to it. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
More camera control, the better. It's my favorite part. It's my favorite part. I love it.
We're getting into the granular bits for sure. Any other questions, folks?
Yeah, so I definitely want to talk with you later because I have a background in Unreal as well and CGI. But basically, I wonder as well with the whole AI and with the Unreal and the game engines, how do you see integrating more? And I think, of course, there's going to be more research done, but I have also seen some interesting plugins for Unreal now where you can basically kind of procedurally create stuff and basically... Yeah, or like foliage and stuff like that. But then also maybe like even photogrammetry is becoming more common now. Like, how do you see that being integrated into your pipeline with like AI and generating content CG and 3D because I've seen some and played around with various like 3D to AI softwares. So
yeah, absolutely. I haven't played around that much myself with that. Like I said before, I would definitely incorporate the suitless motion capture. But like as you're saying, the photogrammetry stuff, yeah, like I've seen examples of people doing some really cool stuff. They take photogrammetry and they bring it into their level, and they're able to maneuver around the scene and essentially build their scene and light it. Crowd sims, of course, that's pretty cool. There's a lot of interesting tools that can enhance the workflow. But yeah, I have yet to explore more of that stuff. So yeah. Oh, I should say, by the way, this is all rendered on an RTX 3070 Ti somehow. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just saying.
Done.
Oh yeah. I don't think I didn't optimize the textures very much either, but it was. I'm kind of surprised. I've recently. I hit a wall. 3070 Ti only has 8 gigs of VRAM, so But I hit a wall recently, so had to go to the fives. You know.
Yes. And did you get it before everything spiked, or
what was that?
Did you get it before all the prices spiked?
Oh, well, not necessarily. Let's see. Okay. I did the big purchase in November-ish. I think the prices were already. Yeah.
No,
it might be worse now.
Oh, it is.
For the GPU, the GPUs are worse now. I know RAM's crazy.
GPUs, if you get it in the wrong spot, oh boy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
GPUs are our backbone in anything film related. So definitely hit Jakub up online and hit him up with questions afterwards. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, pleasure.
Amazing work.
Thank you. Okay, good.